Hello, good evening, everyone. I apologize for being a little late. My fancy headphones didn't want to play right. But here we are once again. It's the first Thursday of the month. I'm so glad to be back with you. And I got my partner back with me. She bailed on me last week for some gala. So what's up, Natalie? Talk to us.
I'm here. I'm here. Hello, everybody. We missed you. The truth is, Stephen got the weeks mixed up, and I was
Well,
actually on it, and then we had to rebook it. So I was on it. All right. So weeks got week up, but we really missed you, and we have a really exciting topic for you today that's going to have you kind of scratching your head and maybe second guessing how you do things and operate within just not your business but your personal life.
okay, I hope I can recover from that bus that just ran over me. So, Natalie, you got some news for us. Let's start off with what your big news has been. I've been watching a couple of your social media posts, and you've been very happy.
Yes, so I recently got news that two of my trademarks were approved, two of the three. The third one I have gotten permission to go ahead and use. It's still in waiting, but it still can be used. I've been working on really some content that focuses on workforce development, entrepreneurship, combining those, and what does that look like for the new workforce that we are entering. So it's position yourself with the careerpreneur mindset, and it's really teaching people how to become their own boss in a way. You know, a lot of what I've realized as I've gone through my journey as an entrepreneur is that nobody handed me anything. I really had to know how to position myself, how to take an opportunity when it was an opportunity. Is it an opportunity? And learn from a lot of mistakes. And we're not taught that. And whether you are an entrepreneur or you're in your career roadmap, it's a business. And you have to know how to professionally move through it. So I'm very excited to be able to release this new work that has been in work for years.
Great. So, what's the trademark names?
The first one is position yourself. The second one is the careerpreneur, and the third one is getting naked with your business.
So, we got a careerpreneur, faithpreneur. We got all kind of preneurs.
Hmm.
It existed. Congratulations. So,
Thank you.
tell people what is a trademark and why it's important. I don't think the public want me to say those things first.
Well, I really wanted to protect what I create. I realized that I'm a business, more than anything in my business, I really have very good strategic and innovating skills. And I realized I had to start protecting what the ideas that I'm putting out there. And everything that I'm putting out there, I'm creating it as a framework, as something that can guide people, move people forward. I felt it was important as a part of my asset portfolio to make sure that I trademarked those before I started to really use them everywhere. And the best part about it is I found a grant. I did it for free. Nobody, I didn't have to pay anything. A law
Wow.
firm, a law firm was offering it for small minority business owners. I just went through the process and I've got them all done.
Hey, Kurt, come on, man. Tell the people what happened. You about to jump on here. Tell the people what.
You want me to hop on and talk about
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Tell them what I did.
Okay. Hi, Kurt, the behind the scenes guy. I don't usually jump on the show, but I'm gonna tell this quick story about Steven. One of the first times meeting, he and I were just, I'm a first time business owner. Wanting to legitimize what we do. We would kind of turn from hobby into hustle into now a legitimate business. And one of the first times he and I sat down, he gave me so many gems, but the greatest gem of them all was about how he was about to take the head nurse in charge and bring it under his company's brand, because he said, you ain't got no trademark. He said, anybody could come in and take your name. And I said, well, wait a minute, hold on. We've been doing this. I said, hold on, we've been doing this. He said, don't matter if the U.S. Patent Office don't got your name on that name, guess what? It's open to anybody. He said, I trademark 10 names every single day. I think up stuff. We had a conversation and we both agreed on like a term. He said it'll be trademarked by tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So I love that brother to death. JD said, "Wow, I look like I'm coming from a swinger club." Because we performing in, we perform. JD, stop it. We performing in DC. We down at Blurred Con, but
That's right.
we could be at Blurred Con as head nerds in charge is because we have our trademark. We are,
Yes.
how they say, we legitimize now. And at the minimum, all jokes aside, it's it's ridiculous how at one panel that I was just recently doing 2 weeks ago, I said, how many black-owned businesses do we have in the nerd culture? Everybody put their hand up. I said, now put your hand down if you don't have your trademark. More than half the room put their hand down. And that was a
Right.
learning opportunity for everybody to realize, honestly, you don't own your content, you don't own your business, you don't own anything until you go through the proper paperwork and make
Okay.
sure you call dibs on the thing that you put in your heart and soul into. So
And
I'm out of
understanding
here.
the classes.
Correct. Hey, you know the president of BlurCon was just interviewed on the Griot. Hilton.
Yeah, I just saw
Yeah.
Hilton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
listen,
just interviewed on the Griot, so they just ran his piece today. So
it's
good,
a
have
lot.
fun, man.
Listen,
Thank you for being here.
Oh no,
So,
no, no. This we all business right now. I'll have fun after. All right, y'all.
That's right. So I'm very big on trademarks. I'm very big on organizations having trademarks, and I thought it was Sunday and Wednesdays. I try to make it a point to catch. Okay, thank you. Glad you're here. Glad you caught us. We're the first Thursday of the month. I make a big deal about trademarks as well as our guest this evening because she has trademarked a lot of things too around her business to protect her business. Matter of fact, we at one time shared the same trademark attorney who was actually a guest last month, Clyde Vanell, Assembly Member Clyde Vanell. He was before that he was a trademark attorney. So the reason I talk about trademarks, it's very hard to say you own a business if you don't own a trademark. So I have a group, my mastermind group members. They think this person that I was getting ready to put on blast was one of the members. It's really not. I'm only going to call this person by his initials, DW. So me and DW had a conversation. DW's been in business for over about 6 or 7 years, made a few $1 million, but don't own a trademark. But I like the name of his business. So I'm giving you DW, to this show next month to trademark your business name. If you don't, I would be on here live going into my USPTO account and I would spend $350 to trademark your business name. Just letting the DW know that. So, some people like to learn from experience. Some people rather take the advice. I have learned that the advice costs less than the experience at times. Okay. So moving on. One of the things I definitely want to get us to have a conversation about. First of all, Natalie, great job on getting the trademarks. Very important. I like what you're doing and how you're going to use them. They're very important to build your brand. Anyone who knows me, the people know me in my mastermind group, they know it. They actually say the first thing they say now, I'm going to trademark this before Steven does. You know, actually, I even came up with a trademark idea on Dr. Grant's show. Now, I need to stop for a minute. So, for the first time ever, I get to interview Dr. Grant. Dr. Grant has always interviewed me, and I was actually on one of her programs when I came up with a term that I immediately said, I got to trademark that. We were just talking about wannabe-preneurs, people who want to be a preneur. So that's my addition to the preneur brand is want to be a preneur. Okay. I want to move into a couple of sections before we get into and learning more about Faithpreneur. And one of them, Kurt, can you bring up that Chadwick meme? Because it really goes into how business owners. So, you know, if you read the meme, this is not the full story. You know, the government did not take half. They actually put up a bond for that the executives of their state to do the right thing. They would take their fees out, and then they would still, you know, give the rest of the money to the families. Now, there's some things different that actors do when it comes to earning money and putting away money because they work in different countries, and sometimes the studio that, you know, put movies out in those countries don't take the payment in U.S. currency. They rather leave the money in that country so that way they avoid taxes. Matter of fact, that's what Ernst & Young is right now, got accused of because Ernst & Young actually told one of their clients to create a shell company in Israel so that they could buy the product from themselves, pay no taxes, and then resell it back into the U.S. And the IRS was like, no, man, you just can't disrespect us like this. We want, you know, 1.7 million for that nonsense. But what I want you to understand is that the will Having a will, having a land trust, these are very important documents to have. Understand that you really cannot be a business owner if you're not insuring your assets. Okay, you can run around here, call yourself a solopreneur, whatever, but if you're not insuring your assets, if you don't have a will, if you don't have insurance, what are you really doing? Because I don't know if any of y'all noticed, and I know there may be some people that feel that their faith is going to, regardless of your faith, you're going to die. They make no mistake, no matter what your religious belief is, no matter what your religion is, every religion says that this human body will become a decrepit, decaying corpse. You're going to die. And if you die without any insurance, without any will in place, especially a living will or a will, so that the probate courts don't have to decide how the money is going to be used, you're doing a disservice to your family. Insurance number one job is to provide for your family as if you were still there. It's the same thing it does for your business. It allows your business to continue or allow a amplifical means for the business to discontinue. My daughter Tia, I being transparent, I had COVID last week. I am now negative. Did the test today, and I'm negative again. But Tia, yes, thank you. Tia asked me about what happens to me should I die? Because I got COVID. He's like, hey, what happens next? She owns a part of the business, and I explained to her that I took precautions. I did not have that discussion with them. I apologize for that. But I have sat down with my attorney and insurance company to take precautions to protect the business or to make sure the business can continue on the decisions that they make. They may say they want to keep the business going or they may want to sell the business. That's entirely up to them. Okay? So I just wanted to make those things clear. So number one, if you are not out here insuring yourself, you're playing this game, it's not smart. I remember 2 years ago we had a New York State Senator that passed away, and we had to do a GoFundMe for him. Matter of fact, hey Kurt, show that meme that really talks about what it is. Yeah, so this is a sign that was actually show the other photo too. So this sign was what an insurance agent had on her table. I was coming from Whole Foods in Harlem, and she said, don't let GoFundMe be your insurance plan. And that's 100% certain. There are better ways to do this than not taking the steps necessary to protect your family, protect your business, protect the things that you're looking to build. So I really wanted to have that conversation with you all because I see too many people out here who are, they're flying by night, not really paying attention to the foundation of what it means to run a strong company, and then something happens and now they are unable to continue business. But hopefully you take some knowledge from that. So number one, your ideas, your company name, it should be trademarked. Your content should be booked, should be copyrighted. Okay, the same U.S. Patent Trademark Office responsible for copyrights and for trademarks. Learn the system, get your works protected, because especially if you don't copyright any of your written works, you have no challenge if anyone uses it. So those are things to do if you are, regardless of your age or where you are. Have some insurance on yourself, on your business. Okay? So tonight, I am extremely happy to have my buddy here, longtime friend. We go back. And I get to sit in the chair and ask all the questions. And what I and I'm going to lead off. First of all, this is Dr. STACIE NC GRANT, who is one of the nation's foremost, not just Faithpreneur, but also MCs. She does FraserNet, been doing FraserNet for a number of years, as well as other organizations. She just did, Black Girls, Princess Jenkins.
Yeah, Women in the Black.
Women in the Black.
Who's the boss?
Yes, just her event as well. So she's one of the foremost exciting speakers out there to listen to. And 2018, we began this journey of creating the Faithpreneur Conference. I actually came in on Weibo and got wrapped right into it as well, and it's been fun ever since, and I am so glad to have you here. But the one thing that I want the public to know is that this is a Faithpreneur family, because everybody in her family got a company. Most West Indian families, everybody got a job, but everybody in her family got a company.
Get that coin. Okay, let me behave. We didn't even start yet.
Yes, Dr. Grant. First of all, thank you for being on, and talk to us about what it means to have a full family out there working for, the way you guys work. What does that look like?
So first of all, can I just pause for the cause? I'm on here with the two superstars with Transruptic. Can we just, hello, everybody put a virtual applause out there. Head Nerds in Charge has some of the best programming ever. So it's an honor to be here with both you and Natalie tonight. You are my brother from another mother. We go back like old highways and spinal cords. So it is a blessing to be here to talk about what you are saying tonight. Before I even get into talking about my family, we saw what COVID did to remind us once again, life is here for a moment, but you have to have your business in order. We do not want to see the hard work, sweat equity, everything that people work hard for go to the government. The government has their cash and their coins. You need to keep yours to pass on to generations. So protecting and having the trust and the wills, protecting your intellectual property, that is a must. If you're tuning in and you're part of any of the programs with Head Nerds in Charge and you're here with Transrupted, oh, please, you have to get your business in order. And the good news is, it's not judgment. We're not trying to throw shade. What we're telling you is don't just listen. Be an active participant in doing so you can get the results. So I just had to get that off my chest because I was ready to jump in on that on the beginning.
Well, I thought you was going to jump in, especially on trademarks, because
I wanted to be in right and decent order so I can get invited back to the show.
That's true. So actually, let's switch things up. So you have been very serious about protecting your brand.
Yes.
Tell us what you've been doing. What does that mean to you to protect your brand?
So exactly what you shared before, I saw a lot of people that I admired that had certain levels of influence in the marketplace that I found out had never protected their blood, sweat, and tears in building their brands, their books, their programs. And when I met our mutual attorney, he was talking about how much exposure was left out there, especially those in the personal development world, who are speakers and authors and trainers, and they're coming up with all these unique and incredible ideas that they are building programs and products for, but anybody can come and swoop up and use it and profit from it because we haven't protected it. That's like leaving your children out in the middle of the street, just abandoned, that anybody can come and swoop them up and claim to be their parents. Where would we do that? So why do we treat our businesses, the time and the effort that we put in to creating programs and products and not protect it? So once I learned, see, when you know better, you do better. And sometimes it's just a matter of not being exposed to the right conversations and having the right people in your front row, which is something that I talk about, that can challenge you to show up in your best self, that can challenge you to look at creating a strong foundation, not building on sand, but building on a strong foundation that will outlast you. Because what we do is really not about us, but what we're setting up for the next generation and our future generations so that they can have more and do more than what we had access to. So protecting my intellectual property led me down a road of understanding the power in ownership, the power in being able to leverage what you own, because it's not just about owning your IP. You can then sell it. You can license it. There's so much leverage that you are able to create for you and your generations if you take the time to put things in right and decent order. So just like having an attorney, having an accountant, having a back office are part of just the fundamentals of business. If you're creating patents, if you're creating trademarks and copyrights, that's a part of what you protect for your business structure so that you treat it as the asset that it is. You took the time to create it. You could have 1 million people doing something similar, but nobody can do you the way you do you. And if you want to have ownership on how that lives in the marketplace, you have to own it. And the power in owning it also allows you to create and build legacy. So, yeah, we talk about trademark. That's a part of my annual conference training. It's a part of the work that we do at Destiny Designers University. And the thing about doing the process, I was listening to Natalie say she got it done for free. Mine wasn't free. I had to pay my attorney. But it is wonderful to look for opportunities where you can get the support and how to not only protect, but know how to protect. Because it's one thing to get a trademark, but there are different classes. So you need to understand what classes you're protecting your intellectual property in, because you can protect one, but being exposed in another. So you have to think holistically about what you're building. And that's why when when an opportunity presents itself, rather, to meet with a knowledgeable attorney to really guide you on what all of your options look like. And you can gradually scale and add more marks to and more classes to your trademark. You have to think about whether you want to keep it in the United States or if you want to move it internationally. So there's a whole lot more to learn. But the bottom line for everyone watching today, if you are building a business, if you have products and you have services and you want it to outlast you, make the investment in yourself. You're the best investment that you can make. Bet on you and get the legal structures in place to make sure that your legacy outlives you.
So to the person who asked the question about what do you get first, I've always got a trademark first. I got a trademark. I even thought about what the business structure would be. So when I birthed the name Transruptic, the first thing I do with to see was, is the domain available and is the trademark available? And once those two things were available, those were the first two things I registered. I can always figure out at any later date what would be the structure of the company. But I feel that it's always more important to have that trademark in place, and also then go to the LLC or whatever. And LLC is not necessarily the best means of business ownership for everyone. That's when, once again, that's where you have a question answered with a professional, so that they can go over based upon your tax structure, what would be the best way to set up your company. Okay, so Transruptic is not an LLC. Transruptic is a benefit C corporation. So in other words, we are providing a social good, but we're still a regular C corporation. I felt that was the better way than being an LLC, especially when it comes to what we do and to the tax structure. So that's a decision that you want to make independently. Don't just go out there. There's a number of people on social media who tell you, I can help you form an LLC for $9.95. LLC, man.
Ooh, the devil is a lie. Make sure you get the right counsel. Wise counsel is important in business.
That is very, very important. Very important.
And my take on it real quick, definitely do the research in it, but also understand that you can do a little market research to really see what people are reacting to before you take the time to spend the investment on getting your intellectual property protected. So that's just another context to view it. I don't think there's a right and wrong way per se. It's what's best for you and how you're building what you're building. So there's a right way for you to do it, but that takes getting the right counsel so that you have all the benefits of making a decision for where you will be, not for where you are now, but for where you will be.
Correct. Thank you. So,
That's
Dr.
a great
Grant,
point.
you have a household of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
What is that like?
So here's the funny part of this story. My children only know their mother as an entrepreneur. My life in corporate and the things that I did was before I gave birth to them. I'm not going to tell you how old they are, because then you'll get an inkling on the fact that I'm climbing the ladder here. But they both, that's all they knew and experienced. So even in elementary school, both of my kids were starting businesses. One started one behind my back. When he was like 10 years old, he went to consult with my attorney, who he refers to as, uncle. You know how we do in the family. Anybody that's an adult, you don't call them by their first name, their uncle so-and-so and aunt so-and-so. So he went and had a whole conversation with him because he wanted to get summer youth employment and he wasn't old enough. So they had a conversation about different ways you can earn money as a preteen and blah, blah, blah. Next thing I knew, he went out and started a lawn service, didn't tell me, got his best friend who lived a couple doors down, and they took our lawnmower out of the garage and had people sign up for a subscription lawn service that they would cut the lawn for $15 or $20 a week. And he didn't even have a cell phone. I said, well, how are people contacting you? Oh, well, I gave them a house phone. I said, how are you collecting money? And you didn't even ask your parents if you could have a business. But it was innate to him that there are ways to make money and I can start generating money. And people actually paid him, and he had a little roster of clients walking around the street in a neighborhood where landscapers had contracts. He was able to carve out a little niche for himself at 10 years old doing lawn service. And it just grew from there. He became a DJ because we saw his love for music. This is for all the parents listening. When your kids show you who they are, listen early and fast so you can move them in a direction that they are growing. he would get in trouble for tapping in class or humming for singing. And a friend of mine said, "Did you put that boy in music class?" And I was like, duh, maybe we should. Put him in
Right.
music. He plays 5 instruments. He started showing that he loved music so much, he started DJing. His grandmother bought him a turntable at 11. And he started DJing as a professional DJ at 13 and ended up playing for the mayor of the city of New York, Mayor de Blasio, twice for the West Indian Day Parade. I'm sharing this all with you because it was in their blood. My oldest son, he was selling loose leaf and pencils during testing time when he was in elementary school. I was like, boy, what kind of racketeering you got going on at the school? I do not need the principal calling me. But he went with his grandmother, got his supply from Staples, and he was like, Ma, it's supply and demand. So entrepreneurship is in my children. He is now doing videography and photography, production work with my husband. But my husband was not the entrepreneur. He was corporate America. That's what he was used to. And then he married someone who was an entrepreneur, and being the supportive husband he is, 26 years in, I love my baby daddy. Thank God for that support. But now, after watching the development and supporting his wife, he launched a couple of years ago, I think now we're up to 4 years, I really have to think about it, his own production company as an entrepreneur. So he has been learning. He calls himself my first graduate of Destiny Designers University.
I love it.
Because he is now building his enterprise with his skill. It's one thing to support his wife, which is great, but I'm like, babe, you have a talent and we need to get paid off of that too. So all of us have a stream of income that we're contributing, because my grandchildren and my great grandchildren will have the blueprint that my grandmother didn't have, but that my platform honors, because God answered her prayers through me to be able to create space to grow an enterprise with an integrity to God, standing on our faith. So we are about getting that. Well, I'm not going to say about getting no paper, but it is about getting the paper. And why? It's about building capacity. God didn't intend for us to be broke. And I rebuke anyone who believes in God and thinks that we took a vow of poverty for the rest of our life. That's not what my word says, and that's not what I believe. And I'm very vocal about my faith and what I stand on. If we're going to be the head and not the tail, we have to have some capacity. We can't help anybody if we're broke. You know, one of my mentors, Les Brown, loves to quote Reverend Ike. He said the best way to help broke people is to not be one of them. And there's some truth to that. You can't help anybody if you are trying to beg Peter to pay Paul, you're trying to pull things together. And that's not to say there isn't space for bootstrapping and growing your business, because we work with emerging faithpreneurs who are trying to figure it out and lay the foundation. I remember what that was. Established faithpreneurs they started, but it's time to scale and grow and expand their reach. And then our empowered faithpreneurs who now have the capacity to seed kingdom business. How can you seed anything if you don't have a thing to draw from? So my household gets it, understands it. It's also helped to exponentially grow throughout my family and my cousins and relatives, because they're seeing that it's a process. We don't sell overnight success. What we sell is a opportunity for you to believe in how God created you, to have more and not less. How you have everything that you need in order to stay the course of a journey of development that will manifest your reward in the marketplace. Because somebody's looking for your solution. Somebody's looking for your answer. Somebody needs you to bring some healing in this cray-cray world, and you get to profit off of the oil in your land. Okay, I'm gonna pause.
I feel like you're talking to me. I was like, this was for me. This was definitely for me. So I'm not shocked about your family and your kids. I'm not shocked about that, because I realize when you create a table where that conversation is about business at dinner time. I know we sat at my table every day. We talked about the day, what happened during the day, right? And if you're a business owner and the conversation is, I got a new client, we're going to learn how to scale, I'm looking at my P&L, even if it's just general conversation, they get used to it. And like, to your point, it becomes innate. It becomes a part of who they are, their DNA. You know, so I've always said that if the conversation is not had at the table, then you don't know, right? You don't, and we see this all the time with Black and brown business owners, and we especially saw it during COVID, when funding was available and books weren't ready and people couldn't get it together and all that stuff, right? So I totally love your message. I love your word. I love the message behind Faithpreneur, because I was asking Stephen, I want to know what a Faithpreneur is, right? I love the fact that you operate in abundance, because a lot of the time we're taught that we should be meek and mild, and that's not the energy that I believe that God wants us to operate in. So
That's
this is
right.
just, it's very refreshing.
Well, thank you for that, Natalie. And that's the space that we wanted to create. You know, for me, it was honoring the fact that when my grandmother transitioned December 15th, 2015, she was 98 years young. And Natalie, I was my grandmother's brat. My cousins will tell
Mm.
you, my aunts will tell you, that's my grandma. She had 7 kids she gave birth to. She raised another dozen, but I was her number 8. And I thought I knew everything about my grandmother, but it wasn't until we were burying her that my aunt told and shared with me a story that my uncle had created a whole piece to our house where she was able to set up a store. And when she set up that store, she opened it up, excited to sell her wares, and people kept coming to the store and they didn't have enough money. And my grandmother's heart was so big, she started layaway before layaway was a thing. And she would allow them to take and they would promise to bring back, and they never did. So my grandfather shut down the whole store. Natalie, imagine if my grandmother had a Destiny Designers University that was producing the content that we do, that had an annual conference like Faithpreneur Weekend, that had faculty like Stephen Jackson, that were able to pour in and give her the tools that she needed so she could have created that store as a profitable legacy to leave us. But what I realized is that she did leave us a legacy of faith. My grandmother was unwavering when it came to her belief in God. When she stood on his word, she believed him all the way, not partially like, oh, okay, I serve this guy. He kind of cool today, but I don't know what he going to do on Friday. It was every day, 24/7. She believed what he said and the miracles that he was able to produce in her life for our family to see. I am now sitting here as a beneficiary of her prayers. I am now sitting here as the manifestation of the answer because I can honor her dream. I started the business that she wasn't able to start. I'm creating the legacy that she wasn't able to fully see manifested before she left this earth. But she's watching me with the best angel view from heaven because everything that God promised her, he did it through her child's child. And everything that he is promising me, the things that I see now and the things that I will see when I have a different vantage point, my children's children will be able to be a part of that because a good steward and a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And
I love it.
faithpreneurs are all about doing that. Faith-based entrepreneurs and faith-based professionals. We don't tell you got to quit your job to be a faithpreneur. You might love what you do, but you want multiple streams of income to add to your personal economy. So we leverage our
Ooh, I
relationships,
like
our
that.
resources, and our revenue to create a sustainable and profitable legacy by being cash flow positive and unapologetically profitable. That's what a faithpreneur is, and we collaborate in the process.
I love it.
So let's take this back to the beginning, okay? What is Faithpreneur Weekend coming up next month? What goes on? What happens? What
Well,
is the
thank you for
purpose?
that question. Thank you for that question. So you were there when we built this. I mentioned my grandmother's transition, and that led to my signature book being released on the eve of her birthday in 2016. 2017, she would have been 100 years old. And I said, let's have a legacy dinner. 2018 came, and I said, I have to keep this legacy going. How are we going to celebrate how we build our businesses with an integrity to God, unapologetically standing in our faith? And I told my husband, we're going to do a Faithpreneur Weekend. He was like, dear Lord, help this woman. We go from a book launch to a dinner, and now she's talking about a 3-day weekend. And I said, we're going to do it. And we went down and did this conference in the middle of where the ball drops every year, New York Marriott Marquis. People were like, why is she doing it down there? Where's she gonna get the sponsors for it? People
Why
don't want to
not?
talk about faith and business. Nobody wants to put money in that. They had all kind of naysayers. People wanted me to have it in the church basement. And I said, there's nothing against the church basement, but the God I serve owns everything. So why am I limiting the vision for what faithpreneurs can be? And starting out with just the vision, we have grown it from 3 days to 4 days. This year is our 5th annual Faithpreneur Weekend experience. It is now 4 days. We start off with a Faithpreneur Got Talent segment where we highlight the talent of our young people in music and art, dance, spoken word. I just got off the phone earlier collaborating with a girlfriend of mine whose documentary is going to be viewed on OWN TV network. We're going to do a screening because guess what? Hello, Stephen. I didn't even get to tell you this. This 5th year, we are broadcasting live on Exposure Plus TV network as a pay-per-view. We done moved on up to the east
All
side because
right.
my God can do it. So virtually, those who are joining will be joining on pay-per-view, and those who are coming in person for our hybrid event will be in the theater where we're producing the whole of Faithpreneur Weekend. And then we go into Thursday where it's the gala. You just saw the flyer. I honor my friends, not just because they're bosses and millionaires and all this wonderful accolade that you will see in their bios, but I happen to pray with them. I happen to do business with them. I happen to work with them. And I get to celebrate them on our legacy gala, where we talk about how they built their enterprises without compromising their faith, and they are very profitable. And then Friday is an all-day training and development opportunity where we get into how to leverage your revenue, your resources, your relationships, how to honor your temple, because you can make all the money in the world. If you are sick as a poor little, I don't know what, trying to move about, what sense is it? What profit is it if you can't enjoy all your hard work? So we get into those conversations. We talk about relationships in a sense of how do you partner with someone who complements you. We have a millennial segment where we talk about passing the baton. We don't need to hold on to everything. Some of us can't let go. Make room for the next generation. And
So
my youngest
important.
son, he's talking about the Gen Z takeover. So we having a full training development on the Friday, and we close out on Saturday morning with our Faithpreneur VIP prayer breakfast. For 13 years, I've been hosting a prayer call, which started from FraserNet that Stephen mentioned earlier at another conference with one of my mentors, Dr. Fraser. I saw people walking around confused, like, what do I do? What do I do? And I said, let's get together for sunrise prayer and ask God to direct our steps, to know what to invest in at what time and with what person. And I got back home, Natalie, people were calling me up talking about what time is prayer. I'm like, what time, Willis? The conference is over. And they said, no, we need to keep this going. And so I committed to praying with them every Saturday, and it grew and it grew and it grew. And then we started recording it and sharing the recordings. And then Clubhouse came into view, and now we do it live on Clubhouse and the call. One conference call was God's setup. One conference call in obedience and keeping that open has opened up so many blessings. And we do the call live to close out the whole weekend experience. And I give out an award to our international corporate Faithpreneur Pearl recipient in honor of my grandmother. That's the Faithpreneur who's in corporate America, but still building an enterprise as additional stream of income for their retirement. So that was a mouthful, honey, but we go
I
in.
love that. I love that. I love the story about your grandmother. I told my grandmother used to, I say that she was the original importer and exporter, because she would barrel things up, send it to Jamaica, have the basement, and then she would sell everything there. But to your point, when she died, it was like, where is everything? Where,
That's
you know what
right.
I mean, right? And if she only had better support, better knowledge, better know-how, right? So I think that's
So,
very powerful.
Natalie, you're not telling me say y'all speaking spoken. Me no know say y'all one of me.
If I speak it, I will offend you. And my biggest thing is when people talk Jamaican, and I'm like, don't do that. Don't ever do that again. You are disrespecting my whole being right now. But then I can understand it, because if I couldn't, there'd be some big problems at home. Yes,
Absolutely, absolutely. Well,
yes.
I used to get annoyed with that in college, sidebar. They were like, speak Jamaican. I'm like, Jamaican is not a language. It's a
Language.
dialect, it's an accent. Lord have mercy. But we coming from Jamaica, it's this certain work ethic that
Yes.
we grew up with. And not to say that that's not in other cultures, and of course here with our brothers and sisters, but it was something about how you work and how you stay diligent, and you have to stay the course. So many entrepreneurs, whether they're faithpreneur, entrepreneur, all the different preneurs that are now being protected out there, you have to stay in for the long haul. This is not overnight. All these people that you think become YouTube famous and Instagram famous and overnight famous, if it's not built on a strong foundation, it will crumble and fall. So being a part of Transrupted and being here with Head Nerds in Charge gives you roadmaps and opportunities for you to look at frameworks that create a solid foundation for your journey. And you hear me talk a lot about the journey of a faithpreneur. The only difference with us is that we understand that we answer to someone higher than us, that we've been given, we believe innately, we've been given the skills, the gifts, and the talents in order to multiply it, not to hide it. So there's a process that comes along with the journey. And that's what ultimately we fortify our faithpreneurs with at our annual conference every year, with our year-round training and development. Now with the launch of the Faithpreneur magazine, now we are building out the Faithpreneur TV network in our partnership with Exposure Plus. And Stephen has been a witness to all of this, staying the course, building, growing, and expanding so that we can reach the masses and reach our goal of 1 million cash flow positive faithpreneurs by 2025.
Awesome.
You know, it's interesting because I used to always tease Dr. Grant that she's getting like Tyler Perry. She's put every day on Facebook, she's putting on another show.
That was my practice run.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, 8 o'clock in the morning, there's this Dr. Grant show. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, on another day, there's a Dr. Grant show.
I love it. I love
and then there was my favorite, which was Dream Do Done.
Yes, yes.
Which was been one of my favorites. So, I mean, actually, what's up with the journals?
So the journals are still being produced. We're going to lift Dream Do Done onto the Faithpreneur Network.
Okay.
So we're transitioning everything now because now it's growing bigger and broader. All our products are still available, and we're just expanding. We're expanding the reach. I believe in collaboration. I believe in the opportunity for us to share access. And anything that I have access to, Stephen already knows he has access to. And now by default, Natalie, you have access to it, right? Kurt has access to it. Because it's not about keeping it to yourself. It's how do you expand and grow. And this is the year of grace. This is the year of grace for me. It's our 5th anniversary Faithpreneur Weekend experience. But now the experience has grown into a movement. And everyone who's interested in registering, yes, they can go to the website, but I want head nerds in charge to know, I want Transruptic to know that grace is what I need you to remember. Because if you're interested in the in-person VIP, which is about to be closed because COVID is still real, thank God, Stephen, that you are okay. We're not filling the house. We're limiting our numbers to keep everyone as safe as possible. But for all of what I shared, they're meals, they're bonuses, they're gifts. And that in and of itself is only $497 because we discounted it because of everything going on in the world. But if you use the code GRACE, you get to take off $400 off of that price. I'm just saying. If you've got a bomb, you might want to drop it now.
You got that. Put that information up there on live on the screen so people can take advantage of it, because that's what we want them to do. As I said, from the first time I attended my first Faithpreneur Conference as a speaker, I took the podium with my good buddy, Assembly-Member Clyde. We kind of find ourselves talking about very similar things, and it's really been a wonderful, great experience. And you have a panel that I don't see anywhere else in the country, and I want you to talk a little bit more about it. You do a panel for couples in business.
Absolutely. Because
I think that's important because too often entrepreneurs don't feel they have the support that they are looking for from their significant others or from family members and stuff. And sometimes those significant others or family members don't know how to support the entrepreneur.
Exactly.
The entrepreneur doesn't even know at times, what do I really need besides more sales, right? But what else? So what is that? What that panel about, and what's so special about? I mean, to me, it is a special panel.
It's always the crowd favorite. It's always the crowd favorite, especially with the different couples that I bring on, because it's an honest conversation we need to have. If you are dating or married to someone who's an entrepreneur and you didn't meet them that way, there is an adjustment in your relationship that is going to happen, because there's a different drive, there's a different work ethic, there's a different commitment to the building that is required for someone who's an entrepreneur. And you have to be able to have those conversations, especially if the person didn't know that was in you. They married you one way, they dated you one way, but they didn't know you were going to have this newfound fire about building and growing a business and everything that comes with it. And honestly, some people aren't ready for that. It can be a game changer in some relationships because they don't like the public facing view. They don't like always being out and networking. So we talk about how to navigate that. And then if you are married to an entrepreneur and you both are on the same page, it's also creating space for the downtime. Because if you both are on 100 all the time, then you might not be intentional about creating the space that's necessary to keep your love, your relationship, your working situation, and your personal situation intact. So we are able to talk about all of those different variations. And for those who might be, well, I'm single and, I can't find someone who understands. I say show up the way you want to be received and don't compromise. Because if they can't match or manage your drive while you're building and grinding, they won't be able to complement you if you get into a serious relationship. You have to be able to have those honest conversations. Doesn't mean that they're a bad person, but they might not be the right person for you in growing and building your enterprise.
This is
Okay,
so
hold on, one quick
accurate.
second. Kurt, are you listening? Just say, type yes if you're listening, because we had a similar conversation. Okay, go ahead, Natalie.
I am so glad that this came up because when I met my husband now, we met in college, but I think he always knew I was a go-getter. I was president of the BASU. I was doing everything. We dated. I was working in corporate America. And then one day I was like, I got laid off and I was like, I just want to start a business. Will you support that? He supported it, right? And not a day has gone by where I feel like he feels any way about it. He understands I'm gonna be working late tonight. He works. He's just awesome with it. And it's funny because people are always like, "What does your husband think about you never being home, never?" And I'm like, "How do you know I don't spend time with him?" We have built that in our relationship, and in him watching me, he started his own business, and I think that became tricky when I have to coach him on things he's doing in his business. And what we developed is that whenever I have to coach him because he needs to improve a process or I see an opportunity, I say, Anthony, I'm changing into priceless right now. Please don't get offended, right? This is what I would say to a client. And I change my tone and then I say, okay, I'm coming back, right? And he just knows. And that has worked really, really well for us. We've been together for 19 years. And
Ooh.
out of the 19 years, for 13, I've been an entrepreneur, right? So this is what we do. And we sacrifice a lot. And the thing about it, he understands that he doesn't need to be everywhere. He doesn't need to shadow me, right? People come to me and they're like, oh, where's your husband? Where is he? He's mine, not yours. Don't worry about it.
Whoa.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, really, Natalie? Look, that part, he mine.
Right? Like he doesn't want to be in the public eye like that. If he had to,
Right.
he would do it. But I need he's my peace, he's my escape. I get to do all the fun things that make me with him, and I love that. But when it's business, he don't need to be around.
Right. 'Cause
That's my realm.
that's not his portion. He didn't sign up for that.
Exactly.
And we have to be okay with that. But here's
Mhm.
what I'll also say real quick. It's hurtful for the person that you love, the person that you're building with, not to be interested in what you're
Mhm.
doing, right? And sometimes we have to be conscious of that and allow for, even if it's not your thing, at least ask the question, how is it going? At
Yes.
least read the book if someone published a book. At least come to one event, because that's hurtful if the
Mhm.
person that you love doesn't love you enough to be interested in what it is that you're building and growing. So I don't know who that's for, but whoever that can bless, may that be something.
Oh no! No!
We're going to get him back. Almost
That was
said
such a
that.
good topic.
Yeah,
It's
so
so on point.
the promo code for the Faithpreneur Weekend is GRACE, GRACE, for anyone who signs up and looking to attend. As I
Check
said,
that link. It didn't go through. Check the link.
Yeah, the link. Kurt had the link up.
I just tested it. It went to a dead page.
Faithpreneurweekend.com.
Let me just check something.
Okay, please do. We don't want to get people all over the place.
Mhm.
We can help it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be with my husband if he wasn't supporting what I did. I would, like, if his ego was too much, he couldn't handle me and all of my type D personality, it wouldn't work. But I know how
Well-
to manage it I know how to keep that respect and manage it in that.
Yeah,
relationship.
that's a panel that she did that's always been very interesting because people jump out there into relationships and like for me, the lesson I had to learn was how to turn business off and create personal space into
Right,
life.
right.
And I wasn't getting that lesson early enough, and fortunately I did get it before it got to the D word, because at some point it probably would have went there. But I had to learn that lesson of I don't, I'm not a doctor. I don't save lives. So there's really no reason for me to be running business at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
because someone feel they have access to me. So I've learned
Mm-hmm.
over the years how to manage the time between the both of them. Dr. Grant, I know you
Yes.
have to go. Any more words you would like for us, our audience, to hear from you?
First of all, thank you again for having me here. Sometimes Facebook can be funny when you put the WW. So, just go straight to faithpreneurweekend.com and just check it
Right.
out. Just visit, if only to learn about the story, if only to look at the history of where this started. And I want to close with sharing one of my life lessons in my book, Action Despite the Distraction. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting started so you have something to perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting started so you have something to perfect. That is my second life lesson. Why is that important? Whether it be getting your trademark, whether it be starting your business, whether it be scaling your business, whether it be the relationship, whether it be the resources that you need, whether it be the product development, start. Don't worry about how perfect it is. Work in the spirit of excellence. Put your best version out and refine it as you go. In the book, I use an example of a device that many of us have that's named after a fruit. I don't call the name because they're not sponsoring me yet. But every single year, they have multiple releases of imperfect items that people stand all on lines across the globe to get this particular item, knowing that it's not perfect, knowing there's going to be an update, knowing there's going to be a bug, knowing there's going to be an issue, but they focus more on giving the best quality version that they can, and they do the updates later. So if a multi-million-dollar brand can launch with imperfections, what are you waiting on? That's my word for you today.
That's a good word, because 100% credit. That's the 90, what we call the 90% rule. You get it 90% together, launch it. The other 10% is coming no
Today,
time.
I will complete all my imperfect actions. This is what I have on my.
Yes, we are on the same page. We are
Yeah.
live.
So before you go, there's two
Yes.
things you got to talk about. Give us the name of your book again. Can they find it on the Faithpreneur Weekend?
Yeah, well, they can go to actionbook.com and grab their copy. I'll put it in the back channel so we can share that.
Right.
But that book is a must-have. It's a whole library that has come out of it that we're going to be releasing this year at the conference. But it's an opportunity for you to stop making excuses and take action. Right? That's the bottom line. If you're around me, you can't stay stagnant. If you're around me, you're going to move, because I shift the atmosphere, I change the energy, and I get action out of you. So it's all about, and that's our conference theme this year, action, despite the distraction, living your faith in 3D. So actionbook.com is how you can get the book. You know about the conference. And if you need me, Stephen is my unofficial manager. So if you want to book me for a speaking event, yeah, you can go through. He got to vet you first, make sure your coins are right, and then we can talk.
No, that's right.
Definitely so. Definitely so. I've been in that room before. And the last thing I want you, my favorite thing of yours is the Dream Do Done Journal. As you know, I gave those out last year, and I'll be doing it again. I know I'll be doing it again this year. Talk about where can you find, and what makes that journal so special. I know what makes it special for me and for the people I've given it to.
So the Dream Do Done Journal is a collaboration between Serena Brown Travis, Les Brown's baby girl, and Tamara Hartley, my Sora, and myself. The three of us used to have conversations behind the scenes, and we brought those conversations to the public around how to keep each other honest in our growth and development. So it was almost like masterminding every single week. And we made that collaborative conversation a way for us to go through what we need to stay focused on the journey. So the journal breaks down how your mind works, how you can take action notes, how you can measure your results from month to month. And we give you some touch points, some measuring tools, and some resources and quotes and information that just keeps it interactive, so that when you're flipping through your journal, you can actually see your progress from quarter to quarter and not just get stuck in one area where you're not seeing the results. If you keep moving, you can utilize my formula for success. Consistent action plus extended period of time equals maximum results. And the Dream Do Done Journal allows you to do just that. So you go to dreamdodone.com and grab your copy, because it is a must-have for your library.
It definitely is. Like I said, I've given them out to good friends who They really enjoyed it. So we in the short period of time we've been talking to you, we done uncovered like 4 of your businesses.
Yeah. I'm a
We
true
started talking
Jamaican.
about
I'm a true Jamaican. We got a lot
That's
of
right.
jobs.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have you're watching one woman who's created multiple streams of income based on her knowledge and her belief.
Yes.
Okay, that's something to take away from this. If you don't take anything else, just think about it. You yourself have a living knowledge of things that you are great at, you're good at, and you can create streams of income from that. And we haven't talked about Faithpreneur University, Destiny Designer University. We didn't get into that conversation. There's a few other things that she is,
Yes.
consistently doing on a regular basis. So she creates multiple streams of income
That's right.
based on her skills. And that is what you all should be looking to do, the
Yes.
ability to take what you learn, what you know, what you love, what you believe, and create those streams of income.
Absolutely.
So that as
I've been to
Brother
all your
Bedford-
websites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to. You better be my friend on Facebook. Don't make me feel
Yes.
some type of way.
No. I'll make sure I correct that. But in addition, the reason why I have to jump off is that I've had a fundraiser going on while we were in the show for me running for international.
That's
president.
right. I didn't
Oh,
mention that.
wow.
So she
Yes.
is running for international president of the Zetas,
Yes,
a
Zeta Phi Beta
fraternity
Sorority
as well.
Sorority. Yes, Sorority Incorporated, and they are waiting for me outside. I said, but honey, I'm on Transrupted on Head Nerds in Charge, baby. So we got to just hold on a minute. I'm with you.
Well,
from my stock to
first
winner.
of all, I can't vote for you, but you have my utmost support, and I do
Thank
hope
you.
that you win. You're
Thank
definitely
you.
a great candidate. You definitely, I know you're going to bring some really forward-thinking stuff to the Zetas. And I appreciate
thank
that.
you.
And
Thank
I
you,
wish
Wayne.
you much success in everything you do. Okay.
Thank you. Love
for
you, my
being with
brother.
us.
Natalie, my sister, you're gone clear. Love you like cooked food. And Curtis, you my brother from another mother too. And I thank God for you and excited for how Head Nerds in Charge is continue to take over the universe. So go out there and transrupt it, family. Love
Yes.
y'all. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Definitely. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us this
Thank you.
evening. I hope that Dr. Grant inspired you all to take what you already have, learn to package it, and create those streams of income out there in the world for yourself. It is it's liberating to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner. It's allows you more control of your life, which is one of the things that I always enjoyed about it. And if you feel this is for you, then start to take that road to it. We at Transruptic, we're preparing to launch our first cohorts. We just finished getting everyone up to date on a course that we're going to be utilizing as part of our training. So you're going to have information about our first set of cohorts that's going to start very soon. Also, that information is going to be on the website, as well as the show is going to actually start to be produced through the website as well. And Head Nerds in Charge, they're going to be doing some amazing things with their content. We're glad to be a part of their platform. Definitely be a part. Have a great friendship with Kurt and his organization. Natalie, any last words? What you learned? What you felt?
I love Dr. STACIE Grant. She was amazing. She's amazing. It was great. I felt like she was talking to me in some cases, so I feel good. Sometimes you need that that confirmation. But what I have to say, in the words of Wu Tang, protect your neck. Get those trademarks, all right? That is all I have to say. In the words of the Wu and the 36 Chambers, protect your neck.
And actually, Naughty by Nature says something very similar to guard your grill. So protect your neck and guard your grill.
Exactly.
So I want everyone to know that I'm not jumping on people and saying if you're not doing this, you're not legitimate and stuff. This is done out of love. I want to see all black businesses successful. But in order for that to happen, we got to set the foundation. We got to build a foundation. We can't leave ourselves vulnerable, because I can personally tell you, I know of some people who all they do is sit around and wait for you to fall so they can scoop up your stuff at pennies. I know an individual, he has made about close to $10 million by waiting for patents to expire, and he scoops them up and he's Samsung and Microsoft and other companies got to now pay him a couple of $1 million to get their patent back. Okay, so there are always going to be individuals who are just waiting for you to stumble, and they would scoop in and like, oh well, you don't have this, okay, well. And I know many people had some sort of feeling when 50 Cent did it to Tina Marie, to her business, but that was a serious business lesson. She had, you got advisors and stuff, they should advise her to how you gonna put out a clothing line and don't trademark anything. So that's what this really comes down to, and there are individuals like Dr. Umar and Dr. Boyce Watkins and others who are consistently putting out these type of messages for us to learn to do things better. That's what this is all about. The last thing I want to, we are great people, and we are more than, one brother bringing a Happy Meal for one person out of 5. That's not who we really are. It's a great, it was a great conversation. Not going to get into it, but I want to see us have more conversations about how we and our families discuss credit, discuss how to use money, discuss how money should be left. Let's start having more of those conversations with our families. Let's have some authentic conversation with our children about our family history, our health history, our financial history. Let's really start to have those type of conversations. Let's start to be a little bit more transparent with our loved ones and the ones who, are coming up behind us, so that they don't make certain mistakes, so they can learn and they can power on and be the next better generation. That's what I would love to see us do more of. It just starts with just, as you said, Nanny, a simple conversation at the dinner table. So instead of talking about homeboy and whether he was right for bringing 1 meal or 5 meals or whatever meal he didn't bring, let's have a conversation about, well, here's what a credit score means to me. Okay? So I thank you all. Have a great week.
And like clockwork, our guest.
That's right. He's obviously said, my time is up.
Right. Good night, everybody. You have a wonderful,
everyone have a great week. Talk to you
wonderful
soon.
week.
Thank you for being on.